One thing that virtually every narcissist does is he or she looks for fractures in your composure. They're looking for opportunities to wail on you. Think of yourself as a statue made of granite, and the job of the narcissist is to take a sledgehammer and break you into little pieces. Well, what he or she is doing is looking for those fractures, those opportunities to wail on you and let you fall apart. Okay, you're not made of granite, you're not a statue, you're a human being, but we're talking here emotionally. So what the narcissist is doing is looking for opportunities to throw you off, to make you angry, to make you sad, to make you depressed. They will argue with you just to get you to argue. I mentioned this in another video, but narcissists by and large aren't trying to win arguments. What they're trying to do is get you to argue because it throws you off base. Even if the narcissist knows he or she is wrong and knows you can easily win the argument, that's not the point. The point is just to get you off base, to get you to argue, to get you to lose your cool, so to speak. All right, so what we're talking about is what are the strategies or one key strategy that will topple the narcissist. Keep in mind, the objective of the narcissist is to destroy you. That's how he or she gets supply. And you know the story. When the narcissist first came into your life, you did not know this was a narcissist. This was a sweet, kind person. You had chemistry. All was going well. Well, not anymore. Now this person has become obvious. He or she has revealed himself, and they're trying to take you down a hard time because, well, that's what narcissists do. You got to turn the tables on them. Here's number one. Is keep in mind that narcissists will focus on your faults. Now, you have faults. You know, you've got those fractures. You've got those problems in your life. And even if you don't have obvious faults, you could be the perfect human being on the planet. They'll find something. I mean, they'll make something up. They will make something up. If you've ever gone through the smear campaign, and you probably have, with a narcissist where they try to destroy your reputation, not your character, try to destroy your reputation among others, they just make stuff up. They will embellish reality. They'll make you sound like you are the worst human being on the planet. They will make you sound like you are them, you know? So what they are doing is they are focusing on your faults. So number one is keep in mind what is on the mind of the narcissist, that he or she is trying to find, again, we said this earlier, but trying to find those little fractures in your personality, in your temperament, that they can take advantage of. Number two is do not allow the narcissist to define you. Now, sometimes you can't help that when it comes to defining you to other people. Again, the smear campaign. But gaslighting happens when we allow the narcissist to define us to ourselves. So the narcissist wants to convince you that you have these flaws, that you have these problems, that you're not very good at this, that you don't know how to do this. Obviously, they know better than you do. In fact, they know so well they're going to point it out to you because they're just trying to help, you know. But the narcissist is looking for those flaws, and now he or she is trying to convince you that you have those fractures and you have those flaws, and some of them you do, you know. But they're making them up. They're exaggerating them. If they're not making them up, they're making you feel much less than you really are. They are redefining you. So the narcissist is trying to beat you down, right? Trying to make you feel very small. And it's working if you let it work because they are defining you. Now, stop and think about the narcissist in your life, maybe currently, maybe in the past. And how did the narcissist make you feel? And the follow-up to that is, why did they do that? Well, better question is, why did you or how did you allow them to do that? Keep in mind, they're doing this on purpose. They're not just doing it to you, by the way. They're doing it to a lot of people. So don't let the narcissist define you. Whatever it is you think of yourself as a result of a narcissist, chances are is something very, very negative. Unless you've managed to defeat the narcissist, then congratulations. Go ahead, give yourself a pat on the back, or wherever you want to pat yourself on the head if it makes you feel better. But hey, if you defeated the narcissist, good for you. That's a positive thing. But typically, that's not what happens. We have these negative memories, you know, where we go back and we think about all the things that we could have done better, how we could have handled that better. We're beating ourselves down. Number three is don't argue. I talked about this a little bit, I think, in the last video we did. Why do you not want to argue with a narcissist? Number one reason is because the narcissist knows he or she is wrong. You can't convince them because they already know. You just can't do it. So why do they argue? Well, they argue because, as we mentioned earlier in the presentation, is they're trying to trigger you. They're trying to throw you off center. The reason the narcissist wants to argue with you is to bring out the bad side, to crack through that outer shell, see what's inside, and what is inside is anger, rage, frustration, depression. That's what he or she is getting at. So it's not about winning an argument. It's not about who is right and who is wrong. It's about shattering you. Okay? Now, let's say that you go out to eat. Say, I think I'll go get me a hamburger. So you're sitting there at the table and you're thinking, okay, I need to, think I'll put some ketchup on my French fries. You having French fries with your hamburger. So you take a bottle of ketchup and you turn it upside down and you squeeze it, and what comes out is mustard, right? So somebody mislabeled that bottle, or they put something inside of it on purpose to throw you off. They think it's funny, right? What does that have to do with anything? Well, the principle is this. When you get the squeeze put on you, what comes out of you? Well, it's whatever's inside of you. The narcissist understands that innately. So the narcissist will intentionally, willfully put the squeeze on you to get whatever is inside of you out. And what is inside of you is just, well, you're just human, right? So what's going to come out is anger or rage or depression, and that is the way that the narcissist controls you. And again, it's not about winning an argument. It's not about right or wrong. It's about putting the squeeze on you to get out whatever is inside of you. So you have this label on you. You've got this ketchup label on you. But your label says, hey, I got my act together. Your label says, I'm not a highly emotional person. I'm not an angry person. So the narcissist says, nah, I don't think that label's correct. I think I'm going to put the squeeze on this person and get something out of him that he or she doesn't know is in there. That's where the argument comes in. They argue about anything. I mean, they will argue about almost anything. Now stop and think about the narcissists who have been in your life. What did they argue about? Was it meaningful? Did it really matter? Chances are, well, maybe it did, but chances are probably not. Number 4 is think but don't speak. Now, this is not a universal principle. Sometimes you got to talk, right? But one of the things that I've learned, not just with narcissists, but with anybody, somebody wants to argue about something. They can argue about politics, religion. What do people argue about? Sports. Have you ever tried to engage in a person who is arguing? We just got done talking about that. Don't argue, but just don't say anything. Somebody's making their point, and you say nothing. You just don't say anything. So I like to use this illustration because it is very appropriate. But if somebody were to throw a ball at you right this very minute, somebody were to walk in the room wherever you are and throw a ball at you, you know what you would do? Your natural instinct is to raise your hands and try to catch it. Or maybe bat it away or something. That's the way we work. The same thing happens when a narcissist tries to argue with you. Our natural instinct is to slap it away or try to catch it or respond. What happens if you don't? That's the end of the conversation, But here's the catch. When you don't respond to a narcissist, when they say something to trigger you, to get a response out of you, when you say nothing, they don't know what you're thinking. And one of the reasons, narcissists, their brain is a database. They're just constantly trying to get information out of people. And they're going to use that information against other people, against you later on. Doesn't matter. It could be good information. They know how to twist it. They can embellish it. They can change it. They can manipulate it so it makes you look like a bad guy. But what if you don't tell them anything? Now, the problem here, I think, is kind of obvious. There's a lot of time you're talking to a narcissist and you don't know the narcissist is a narcissist. You don't know. You're being set up. You're in that early stage of narcissistic abuse where you've gone through the love bombing, and you're in that grooming stage where you think the narcissist is your best friend or your love interest. You don't know. You can't help yourself. Just natural thing. You can't just assume everybody is a narcissist or you wouldn't talk to anybody ever. But once it becomes apparent, once it becomes obvious this person is not who they presented themselves to be, that is a time where you think, but don't speak. Number 5 is no emotional reaction. Now, we touched on this before, but you got to keep in mind that there's more than one way of communicating with people, right? So I'm communicating with you right now. I'm talking to you. Now, I'm not a very expressive guy. When I make videos, I think I'm coming across as very expressive, very animated. Then I go back and watch the video, and to me, it's kind of stoic. I'm just kind of still, because we don't always know how we're coming across to other people. Well, that's part of having Asperger's syndrome. But the point is this. Sometimes we communicate not with words, but with our emotions. All right, we've already covered this, but we're going to dig a little bit deeper into it. Number 5 is no emotional reaction. It's hard to do. No anger, no signs of depression, no signs of frustration, because what a narcissist wants to do is get a rise out of you. Not just a reaction, but a rise out of you. They want to trigger you. They don't want to have a casual conversation about the weather. They want to control you. They want to control the conversation so that they can make you somehow, some way feel bad, make them look good by comparison. It's what narcissism is all about. It's feeding their ego supply. Number 6 is the narcissist is now off balance. Now stop and think about it. The narcissist has given the best shot. Wants to fracture you, right? Wants to chisel away till you break into pieces, but you didn't respond. You didn't break down emotionally. You're not saying anything. You're just kind of being quiet. Quiet verbally, quiet emotionally. What's a narcissist to do? I mean, you're not doing this right. You're not behaving like a good victim. In fact, you're not being a victim at all. Well, what you have done is you have thrown it right back at the narcissist. So now the narcissist is the one who is off balance. Then at number 7, don't try to convince a narcissist of anything. We touched on this before. But you got to keep in mind always that a narcissist is very much aware that he or she is wrong. Now, he or she is very good at convincing other people that he or she is right. And they're very proud of their savvy ability to do that. But they still know they're wrong. They absolutely positively know they're wrong. You can't do the damage that a narcissist does to other people and not be fully aware that what you're doing is wrong. And they're so good, and you know this because you've dealt with these people, but they're so good at making excuses, making cover stories, explaining themselves. Oh, it's a big misunderstanding. Let me tell you how it really went down. They know that what they did was wrong. So don't try to convince them. That's just kind of silly. All they're doing, when you do that, all they're doing is they're saying, yeah, I got inside this guy's head, and now he's yelling at me, or he's trying to convince me, whatever. And the narcissist sees that as a string on a puppet. You are the puppet, and he is pulling your strings by making you try to convince him or her that he or she is wrong. So you see those 2 rectangles on the screen. If you like what we've been talking about and you want to keep the conversation going, hey, just click on one of those 2 rectangles and we just keep on talking. But if not, thank you for stopping by, and we will see y'all next time.